they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We in the place to be. This is Joel Sylvain, my partner in crime, Mr. Career Crossover. Mr. Kevin Carr is currently uh, at University of Georgia doing his thing, doing his training. But of course, like we always do in the beginning of the show, we want to touch a little bit about what's happening in the world of sports and entertainment. The Grammys was something else. Megan Thee Stallion collected 3 Grammys this past Sunday, which is amazing for a new artist. In addition to that, the Queen Bee dropped 28 Grammys, broke a record. Unbelievable. She's doing her thing. She got her clothing line, Ivy Park. Got to give it up to the women. This is Women's History Month. That's why I have some awesome ladies that we're going to talk to tonight. Entrepreneurs, power movers, just taking the world by storm. Also, want to give a big shout out to Miss Melba Moore. She's coming out with an EP coming out soon. Stay tuned for that. A dance music CD or EP, that is. Yeah, that's right. We don't do EP. We don't do CDs anymore. It's all MP3s and digital. Also, coming out the 19th, 1 year anniversary of Club CQD Nice is coming out with a record with Neo. Is going to be fire. Can't wait to have that played next week on In Touch News Radio. Also, a big shout out to the gentleman CJ with Whoopty selling 1,000,000 records for a brand new artist that just came out the later part of last year, and now he sold 1,000,000 records. Unbelievable! Congratulations to James Cruz and him. On the basketball scene, major moves. Blake Griffin is coming in with the New Jersey Nets. Should be playing next week. The New Jersey Nets are only 1 game behind the Philadelphia Sixers. A lot of shuffling. Andre Drummond might be going to, they're saying he's leaning towards the LA Clippers. Drew Brees just retired from the NFL. So there's going to be some shakeup and some quarterbacks over at New Orleans. Tom Brady just signed an extension, 5 years with the Bucks, looking to win another championship. We have also in the world of sports, just several entrepreneurs taking advantage of the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens. As a matter of fact, Gronkowski had just set up his own NFT that is. And if you don't know what an NFT is, it's a version of a cryptocurrency where you can create your own intellectual property, which allows you to sell it on a digital virtual space, which will also allow you to kind of, monetize. As a matter of fact, most recently, Bubble just sold a painting from Christie's, an auction, for $69.5 million in crypto. Woo! That's something big. In addition to that, we have a football player that he had $20,000 worth of cryptocurrency, and now that not $20,000, he bought cryptocurrency for 20,000 at 20,000. Now Bitcoin is worth 60,000, and now he is the third highest paid football player in the NFL. So these are the power moves that's been happening this week, which is bananas. On that note, I want to start off with one of my guests, a power broker here in the Tampa Bay area. She realized that, instead of being in the background, she decided that she is going to go to the forefront. Now, we normally don't talk about politics, but when it comes to sometimes my friends and as well as people that I believe that can make a change, I'm going to support and endorse. As you can tell in the back, I'm supporting Ray from Maeve, Ray McGuire in New York City is doing his thing. I'm also supporting this lovely young lady who graduated from the University of Notre Dame. She is also on the Diversity Advisory Council for Hillsborough County, providing communication between county government and its diverse populations, addressing all matters diversity. In addition to that, she also has her own branding marketing company, so we could talk a little bit about that. And she is an empowering woman. So we like to bring to the show Miss Janelle Khargie. What it do, baby?
Hey, how you doing, Joelle?
We are doing fantastic.
I'm gonna go ahead and take it off of the, I guess what is it, the screenshot, so that way you can see the video.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in addition to that, we also have another power broker. Her name is Bev Magtanong. And let me share with you a little bit about her story. She's a Filipino-Canadian-American entrepreneur, businesswoman, philanthropist, opera singer, mother of 5 children. Lord have mercy. She's the founder and co-owner of Mostra Coffee, a specialty coffee roaster located in the beautiful San Diego, California. And she is the recipient of the International and coveted 2020 Micro Roaster of the Year Award by Roast Magazine. She's been featured on Forbes, Us Weekly, BuzzFeed, Gear Patrol, Huffington Post, Condé Nast, Bon Appetit, ABC, NBC, Fox, Alaska Airlines, Google Talks, at Google headquarters. She says she's naturally shy. I don't know about that. It's that she's an introvert. However, she's a classically trained opera singer. I don't know how you could be an introvert and be like, ah!
Right.
She's an example of achieving success through intuitive and empathic entrepreneurship. Her journey is all about human design. And she's going to touch a little bit about how you guys can tap into your human design, create your blueprint for self-discovery, and help you unlock your potential and empower you to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the show of Power Moves, Bev and Janelle. What it do?
Hey.
Thanks for having me here.
Happy to be here too.
That's right. So what we're going to do today is just going to be really about a discussion. You know, we are in the middle of Women's Month here, right? And I want to really touch upon both of your stories and how you, first of all, decided to take the leap to become entrepreneurs and generate income. What was that like to say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of working someone else's dream, and I'm going to put money on my table and create my own scorecard? And let's start off with you, Janelle, because you've been in corporate for quite some time, and now you're doing your own thing.
Yes, I am. I'm very much so doing my own thing, but I don't want to say it's my own thing. Everyone can do this, and you just have to really take a leap of faith. You know, I mean, and a lot of it has to do with believing in yourself, you know, and again tapping into that inner strength that we all have it. We just gotta tap into it. And you know, in my personal scenario, like I have a history of, you know, fixing certain scenarios, different jobs, creating different departments. If you remember myself and you, we shared an employer.
Yes.
And there were certain things, inefficiencies that were there, and I recognized them. And I was young. I was in my late 20s when I started with them, and I saw things that, you know, I know I'm young, but this is, you know, doesn't make sense. So those were the beginnings for me of kind of like in corporate America, you know, speaking up and at least seeing if I had a voice, because everyone sees on TV, everyone sees on social media, they say, speak up and, you know, don't be bullied. It's easier said than done.
Right, right.
Which I can attest to. But that I'll always tell people, like that time period when I was going through the different jobs or going through the layoffs or the terminations or whatever it may be, I always like remember that, you got to keep going forward, you got to move forward. And that's where today I am at the point where, you know what, I know I can do X, Y, and Z because I did X, Y, and Z, and I didn't I maybe the end result wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but it allowed me to kind of like look like a beta test,
Mm.
so I was able to see, okay, so that scenario, I tried this, I was maybe 75% successful. I'm using analytical numbers and terms here, but if you look at it like that, I mean, seriously, just take the emotion out of it and look at it. And then, as you know, every experience, every scenario, every project that I tried to fix, this is where I got to this point. And the tipping point for me was actually after I walked away from my marriage. And that was a long term marriage, almost 2 decades. And a lot of women, we don't get married to get divorced. We're not planning for that. I can't say that.
Ooh, drop bombs, boom.
But again, in that entire scenario, that experience, that relationship, I had many incidences where, again, I saw things that I tried to fix and it didn't work out, obviously, but this is where you learn, you learn, you learn. So in 2018, so it was fast forward 2018, I made a decision to make some changes, instead of talking about it, like you said, and instead of doing like hashtag or, forwarding a meme or whatever it may be, I realized I do have a voice and I can make an impact. And the reason why I know that is from my past experiences, from all the failures that I had before, all the successes I had before. It didn't happen overnight, like, oh, I had a light bulb over my head and, oh my gosh, I know I can do it. It took a minute. But again, just looking back at all the successes and failures. So in 2018, there was an opportunity within the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners, the Diversity Council. And I've always spoke up. You asked me the other night, what's my, what made me get into politics or how long was I in politics? And my answer was like, probably since the beginning of time. I've always been challenging the status quo. I've always been telling people, well, I don't think that's the way it should be. I've always been castigated for giving my opinion when people don't want my opinion. Mm-hmm. But this has been the makings. This has made me realize that, I can speak up. No one's going to lock me in a basement. We have freedom of speech here in America. My parents are immigrants. They came from a country where you did not have freedom of speech. And I come from a very conservative culture too, where women are not allowed to express how they feel. So again, all of that just let me know that I can make a change. So again, the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners, they had an opening. Les Miller, he is retired. I had to apply, write an essay, explain why. And I kind of did it with you the other night, and I did it with them. They allowed me that opportunity to serve on the Diversity Council. With that, that's allowed me to see all different demographics in Hillsborough County and how they're dealing with not only the pandemic, just their daily lives and what's affecting them. And then from there, I met a lady who was running for Florida Senate District 20, which is North Tampa, like Pasco County, Polk County, Northern Hillsborough, like Wesley Chapel. And she allowed me the opportunity to be her field coordinator. And that gave me a real view of what goes on in politics.
All right, hold on. So hold that thought, because you rolling, girl. You rolling. So hold that thought, because we got to get ready to go on break. So get your water, because we're going to do a lot of talking, because you guys got some incredible stories. But being that we're getting ready to go on break in about 45 seconds, what I like for you to do, Bev, is what's your commercial for your coffee?
My commercial?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Well, I'm Mostra Coffee. I'm a co-owner and founder of Mostra Coffee. We're in San Diego, California. We are 2020 Micro Roaster of the Year, which is an international award in our industry. And we are all about high performance coffee. So Mostra means performance in Italian. and I'm an opera singer. My best friend who founded this company with me is a TV host and an actress. And we know what it's like to be at the top of our game, like what it feels like, right? Our hope for our coffee is that we inspire people to be the best performers in whatever they do, whether they're a mom, an engineer, a host, in politics. So we're all about just inspiring people to see the goodness in humanity.
All right. So on that note, Mostra, baby, high performance people in the place to be. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We're going to go on break, pay some bills in 2 minutes, and we'll be right back so that we can get into your story, Bev. Once again, Power Moves on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. Call in 813-444-9588. Take it away, DJ Anna.
What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
In Touch Radio, where you can listen to a cruising flow of smooth soul and jazz, today's R&B, a fun touch of hip-hop and gospel.
All my music on one station.
Giving you a buffet of music, news, and entertainment. We're In Touch Radio.
All right, we are back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We just finished up wrapping up a quick little synopsis of Janelle and her story, transitioning from corporate, talking a little bit about politics, and even sharing a bit about her personal side, where she had to start all over and say, I'm done with this marriage and moving on. But now we're going to transition a little bit about Beverly as a Filipino-Canadian-American entrepreneur with the Mostra Coffee, performance coffee, baby. So tell us, what is your story? What got you to create this line? Because, Starbucks is on every corner.
Totally. Yeah. So my journey goes all the way back to 2009 when I took a trip to the Philippines. So my parents are immigrants of the Philippines. I'm first generation Filipino-American Canadian. So I was born in Canada. Yeah. And I was doing a lot of work with the Filipino community here in San Diego at the time. And then I had an opportunity to go back to the Philippines with a really good friend and mentor of mine who was doing business there, and he was working with farms there. And so I just felt pulled to go. I don't know what it was. It definitely wasn't a convenient situation. I wasn't even an American citizen at the time. So I had issues with my passport. I had a 2-year-old at the time. I had a husband who was working full time. It just wasn't a convenient situation, but I was like, I have to go. Now, I realize why that was the case with my situation now, but I went there and I learned a lot about, social entrepreneurship. I saw all of the resources that the Philippines has, but yet there's not really like a global brand that the Philippines has that's mainstream. And there's so much poverty there. And we saw that, but we saw all the resources that it has. So I came back from that trip with my best friend. I sat on it, for 3 years. And then I had this random opportunity to open a cafe with her because we've always wanted to do a business together. We've been best friends since high school. And then we wanted to provide coffee. It was a cafe in a medical facility. And we wanted to provide coffee better than Keurig coffee for the medical staff, for the families that were going there. And so we called up a friend of ours and we said, hey, like, you post all this fancy coffee stuff. Can you like teach us about coffee? Because legit, we didn't know anything about coffee. I drank maybe like frappuccinos and nothing else, right? So he takes us around. He takes us to this roaster that was 2012 Micro Roaster of the Year at the time. And he's like, try this stuff black with no sugar. I was like, heck no, I'm not doing that. It's disgusting. And then I tried it and it was super complex. There was just all these flavors in it. Basically, it didn't taste like charcoal. And so for me, when I start getting into something, I'm like a Google fanatic. I'll research and research and research. And in that time that I researched, I found that the Philippines actually grows specialty coffee. So when I found that out, my best friend and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Scratch the cafe. We're not doing that anymore. We are going to roast coffee. We don't know how to roast. And we are going to build this global brand, and we are going to create a demand for Philippine specialty coffee, and we are going to create sustainable livelihoods for people in the Philippines. We don't know anybody coffee in the Philippines at all. But we ran with it, right? That's intuition again of, okay, we just feel gut feeling that this is going to work. So we did it. My mom gave us $10,000. We bought a 1-pound roaster. We put it in my garage. Her grandparents gave her $5,000. We bought 4 125-pound bags of beans and we parked it in my garage. Nearly burned my house down trying to roast. And we just hustled. We were just out there. We were doing everything we can. And then, you know, like one serendipitous moment leads to another. And we were able to find people that were connected to specialty coffee in the Philippines. And, you know, 7 years later, since we started this business, we're now the largest purchaser of Philippine specialty coffee in the United States. Woo! We're probably just this year alone. We'll probably
applause, Anna, DJ Anna, applause.
And we're probably giving them about 9 to 10 million pesos this year. And we won 2020 Micro Roaster of the Year last year, which just made it even better because it just gives us an even larger platform to push this coffee through. So I guess like why I'm passionate and why I wanted to be on here is because I didn't have any business background. I'm an opera singer. You know what I mean? And when I came to my mom and said, hey, give me $10,000 to buy a 1-pound roaster, she was like, hold up. I just paid $30,000 for your singing like decree. Like, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. Just trust me. I'm going to make this happen. And then I didn't know anything about coffee, you know? And so this whole entire time for over 7 years, it's been purely intuition. It's purely been about listening to, you know, that voice inside me, you know, God, the universe, doing all the spiritual work to make sure that I'm right in my mind and in my heart, and I'm connected. And human design really gave me another modality to tap into to just be able to connect that way even further. So, you know, there's always a place for all that masculine energy in business, you know, numbers, pro formas, all of those things, absolutely important. At the end of the day, like you know what I mean? You gotta be able to assess that situation and be like, okay, what feels right to you? And I think a lot of people don't get in their bodies enough and they're in their mind a lot. So
I love that. I love that you talk about that because both of you ladies discussed the importance of belief.
Yes.
Right? The importance of in tuning into your connection with the creator. So so let's keep it 100. There's had to have been times where you're like, yo, how am I going to pay these bills?
Yeah.
How, you know, where's this money going to come from? Are we eating oodles or noodles? Your kids are like, yo, can I get Happy Meal? You're like, no, you're going to just get happy. So what did you lovely ladies do as mothers? Because you guys are both mothers and just women that's so committed to your belief. Can you share with us the strategy that you took, the strength that allowed you to say, you know what, I'm still going to put revenue on the board?
Janelle, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, in my scenario, I was in my marriage as well. So with moms, I don't think we have like a choice to say, we're not going to feed the kids tonight. We're just going to go hungry. I mean, uh, technically, yes, you may have a choice, but moms, we are going to make it happen. So in my scenario, whenever those times did occur, um, I had to put on the big girl pants and figure out how I was going to make Christmas happen, or like you said, like lunch or Thanksgiving dinner. And all I did with that was just surround myself with people that I could call for help. So in the beginning, I unfortunately, and most young people, we do this, we surround ourselves with people we think know everything, and we surround ourselves with people that we think are, they have everything, and maybe they're our friends and blah, blah, blah. And that was a detrimental mistake for me. And when I became a mom, and again, being more wiser, just really making better relationships, so again, female relationships, business relationships, just social, just trying to pick people, also finding other parents for friends, again, to have a social network, because I knew I don't know how I knew, but I knew I was going to have some times where I was going to struggle. So as I literally, if you had a daughter or a son, hey, let's have play dates. Let's do this. And, I tried to build those relationships because, again, it takes a village. It does. It takes a village to raise a child. So in every single one of those scenarios, I was able to call on an individual, a group, just to basically give me the support or the help or even the finances I needed at that time.
I love that. I love that,
One
Janelle.
particular group I just wanted to give a shout out to was the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. So they are a social service. They are in Tampa, non-for-profit. They provide so many resources for young people, for mentally challenged, for homeless, you name it. And it's all free. So it's 211, on your phone. And I found out about that again when I was, a young mother, someone sharing resources, another parent, someone who may have went through something. So the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, they really, really provided the support I needed during many times as being a mom.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Your
So
turn,
for me, I mean, it's very similar to Janelle. It's surrounding yourself with really good people. And then for me is always checking back in, is this something that's still driving me? Is my heart still in it? Because I think that, people that are entrepreneurs, you get to that point where you're like, shit, you can't like go back anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, you've gone this far in your business. We've got like family that's put money in it, multiple family members that have put money in it. And so it's always having to be like 100 with myself and be like, okay, am I still driven by this? Is the mission still something that I believe in or that I'm passionate about? Because I'm a really firm believer that that kind of energy, you're going to propel it forward. You know what I mean? If your heart's in it, if your drive's in it, and the universe and God will put you in front of the people you're supposed to be put in front of. And if you surround yourself with good people and good energy, I just have found that we've been able to get over all of those hurdles. I mean, especially with the pandemic, we didn't know what the heck was going to happen. You know what I mean? We were going day by day. We didn't know how we were going to pay for payroll. You know what I mean? You've got like 25 staff and their families on the line. It's a ton of pressure. So it's like, it's that quote, like, if you don't believe in magic, you'll never find it, So,
That's right.
So it's always having to be just real and be like, yeah, the mission is bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us, and if we just continue putting our heart and soul in that thing and we're aligned with it, we're going to make things happen.
Well, we got to pay more bills.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to go on commercial again, but we're going to go into our power segment. So I want you guys to think about how do you tap into your power? So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break on In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you later.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Call in and tell a friend to listen in.
Listen up!
It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
All right, we are back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. This is Women's Month. I got two powerhouse women in the house, and the most important thing that I really want to touch on is, how do you cultivate your power? Where does it come from? You know, when you are rebirthing yourself or creating this new product or service that you're offering. So let's just start off with you, Bev, because you know you're definitely emanating power with you being on all these media channels and things of that nature, and it's all about the performance. So talk to our audience about, what do you do as your routine or your ritual to generate this type of influence and power?
You know, honestly, when I first started Mostra, it was really intimidating. You know, in business where I don't have any background in business, and as a woman with no experience in business, being in front of men with business experience was extremely intimidating. And again, like I said, the only thing that I had was my intuition over the last 7 years. Yes, I've learned a lot about business in that time, and definitely have utilized, you know, everything that I've learned, all the technical stuff, all the numbers, the legalities, you know, things like that, trademark, all these sorts of things, like I've definitely learned. But I've realized that, you know, really stepping into that feminine, that divine feminine power is money for me. You know what I mean? That intuition and being able to harness that is key. And me discovering human design years ago, and for those that don't know, human design is just another modality. It combines, you know, astrology and the 64 I Ching and quantum physics and the chakra system, and it combines everything. And it's really a blueprint of who you authentically are as a person. So I think that, you know, we see a lot of stuff, especially on social media, step into your authenticity, right? Be authentic, just be you, do you. Some people don't even know who that is. Mm-hmm. They don't know who their authentic selves are. You know, we've been raised in society or culture or families, you know, where what we like to call preconditioned society. And have put judgment on what is good or what's bad or what's favored or what's not in society. But we all were born with a clean slate without any influence. And so it's just really a blueprint to be able to maybe understand how your energy interacts with the world. So
I like the way you said that, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to challenge you a little bit, right?
Okay.
That's what I do here.
Yeah.
If you're talking to your daughter, how are you teaching her about human design? Because I need for you to simplify it, because you talked in professor talk almost. you know.
For me, and you know what, it's been really instrumental for my kids and being able to maybe understand them a little bit more. So for me, it's all about how do you feel, like how do you naturally feel about something? So I can give you like a specific example that's always like,
yes, please.
For me. So for myself, and I the best person is to speak up for myself, but like for me, I've always had a very hard time defining my words for things. I'm not a soapbox talker. That's my husband. He can get on the soapbox and he can preach all day and he can just find his words. It's amazing how people can do that. So I've always said, okay, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why can I not find my words? It's hard for me to speak. And then when I learned in my chart, I have, again, this is all like technical, right? I have an open throat center. And in human design, when you have an open throat center, these are people that have a hard time finding their words. They might, they're really good at mimicking styles of talking with somebody. So somebody that has the ability to do that absorbs energy from other people. And so in turn, they may be able to know how to speak to somebody where that person's going to resonate from, versus somebody who has a defined throat center, knows how to find their words, and they don't absorb energy. So they're not affected by other people. They'll just talk whatever they want. They'll just say whatever they want to say.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Right? So do you have a defined throat? Who knows? You know what I mean? Or for example, I have an extremely open self-center. So if you have a self-center, you're somebody that might feel like you go from project to project to project, or you feel like you can do a lot of different things. You don't really feel rooted in like one purpose. Or when people say like, I was born to do this, like, I don't ever feel that way. I feel like I can do a lot of different things. And a preconditioned society, that might make you feel like you have no focus. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Like, your parents paid all this money for you to go to music school, like, stay on track. Like, why can you not do that? You know? So when I learned that I'm an open self-center and that I'm meant to experience all sorts of different things because I absorb everybody's like passions and I can get hyped up about stuff, it made me realize, like, yes, that's exactly what happens. And I have to remove myself from the energy of other people to determine whether or not that's really my passion or not.
I love that. I love that. So now, Janelle, so talk about how did you, and this is a perfect example, you know, whatever happened with your marriage and your relationship of almost 2 decades, you had to start all over. When you left companies, you had to start all over. Yeah. What did you tap into to tap into that belief system, and so that you can evolve and transform into your next level self?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The first thing I had to do was forgive myself. And you hear that cliche, you hear that, and you see it on social media and things like that, but it's real. It's really real, because when I say forgive myself, like, forgive myself for making mistakes, forgive myself for maybe, buying that item that I know I couldn't afford and it's gonna, cause me to have issues with paying bills on time. Forgive me for, maybe spoiling my kids a little too much on Christmas and things like any little thing that, you beat yourself up about. I had to really sit back and look at it and, Janelle, it's okay. It's fine. And all the naysayers in my past, I dealt with a lot of negative and toxic relationships, not referring to my marriage, referring to friends and family and things like that. And as a young person, again, young woman, I took in, like Bev said, a lot of that energy and a lot of those, what people told me a young woman was supposed to be. So I was very, again, unforgiving, just even your body, the way you look and things like that, and how I was holding myself to a very high standard of what a woman is supposed to be. I almost was like superwoman. Like and then again, if I could not do X, Y, and Z, be this perfect wife, be this perfect mother, be this perfect daughter, I mean, I had no boundaries. So again, coming out of that, I had to forgive myself, and I had to really say it was okay, Janelle. You made some mistakes, but you know what? That's how you learn. That's how you get wiser. So I really did learn from my mistakes. Like I really did sit down one day. I actually took some time off of corporate America. I took a leave of absence to sit down, like a sabbatical. I didn't think of nothing else but myself and my children also. And I planted plants and I watched them grow. And I sat outside. I drank coffee at 10 o'clock at night if I wanted to. I went for a walk. Long story short, you see, I forgave myself and I allowed myself just to be whatever it was I was wanting to be, or how I needed to be. And again, in long story short, I had to allow myself to heal. And
hey, Bev, is that a component of your human design?
What part? What component? Is
forgiving yourself, because when as Janelle is mentioning forgiving herself, it's almost like people fail to realize that at times when you go through an adverse situation, the importance of release and cleanse, right?
Absolutely.
So that you can start over. So can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, and why is it so important, especially for women who need to focus on their divine feminine?
Right. So for Janelle, like in her story, she was just mentioning how there was a certain kind of woman she was trying to be, right? But that kind of woman that she was trying to be may not have resonated with who Janelle really is inside. It doesn't feel energetically aligned. Okay. So for me, for her, she had to pull back from that because she was absorbing all of these people's energies and she's thinking, okay, I got to be this way. I got to be this way, but it doesn't feel uniquely me. That doesn't feel like myself. So she had to remove herself from that situation completely and really just be with herself. You know what I mean? And who is Janelle? Like, get back to Janelle. Like, who is that? So from a human design perspective, I mean, if Janelle were to learn about her chart, there could be probably a lot of things that are validating about what she naturally feels, but in society may not be viewed as something positive or good necessarily, even though it's not good or bad. It just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you learn about like your chart, you really can just step into it. Almost validates all that stuff for you. You can just step into that power and be like, this is who I am. I don't have to be this kind of Janelle. No, I need to be this kind of Janelle, the one that feels energetically aligned inside. So
I love it.
Kind of,
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, so this led you to become, so you are now getting ready to run, or you are running for Senate here at Hillsborough County.
Yes.
Big power move right there.
Everyone keeps saying that.
It is.
I mean, think about it. When you're running for Senate, you're representing a whole, you're not representing the block. You're not representing just one neighborhood. You're representing like a whole section of Tampa and St. Pete.
And that's why I'm running, because we have elected officials right now that are not representing.
Ooh, shots fired. Where's the shots at, Anna?
No,
where the shots at?
All elected officials, all in, and Bev, are you in Florida right now?
No, I'm in San Diego.
She's in San Diego. California.
So your elected officials are supposed to represent your desires or the things that you're trying to do. Now, it's the same scenario over here in Hillsborough County. And this is where, again, I've been speaking up and I've been creating departments, and I've been, even with girlfriends and guy friends, I tell them in regards to how to, with their kids and so forth. And I don't always get, a nice, like, thanks, Janelle. I don't always get that, because everyone's not always wanting to hear, they need to be a little accountable. However, in the past 2 years, from 2018 to 2020, I being a little accountable, like I said, forgiving myself, looking at my own mistakes, and also releasing a lot of those toxic relationships. And some of those relationships are like lifetime relationships, like that. Like, no offense, like some family members, I had to had to cut that. And that hurt, those things hurt. It's very hard to do. But once I did that, that's when I was like, damn, if I can tell my mom and dad, or I could tell my auntie or whoever, why can't I tell the guy down the street or the lady down the street, that pick up your dog poop, or, people laugh, but in Tampa right now, there's so many dog walkers, and this is just a tiny little thing, but we don't have the dog stations, for the people to pick up their dog poop, or, not everybody wants to pick up their dog poop. So maybe I might go around and pick up the dog poop, but something little like that. No
Oh
one's
man, all right, so on that note, we ain't not trying to pick up no dog poop. So we got to go on commercial. So we going to go on break right now. So this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. And we're going to go into our respect segment after the break. So, we got to tell people to pick up their own poop and respect my yard. Once again, Untouched News Reality Radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break. DJ Anna, take it away.
Slap talk, trap talk, just talk with Madam CJ. Right here on In Touch Radio every Thursday at 7 p.m. Talk to me, baby. Trap talk, y'all, on In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station.
On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
All right, we are back. This is Power Moves, and we're getting ready to go into our respect segment. We were just talking about power, the importance of really understanding how to forgive yourself so that you can sometimes release whatever negative energies so that you can be your powerful, beautiful woman self. So on that note, with that being said, as you establish your power, there's a level of respect that as you, Janelle, are now getting into the world of politics. It's a dirty, dirty world out there, right? And Bev, having your own coffee shop in San Diego and dealing with a lot of men out there that you're competing against all across the globe with what you're doing in providing opportunities for my peoples in the Philippines. So could you share with me some stories on how you had to check a brother? Well, not a brother, but a man.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, how many stories are there? But I think that, the key to all of that is, you got to respect yourself first. As a woman, you got to know, what your self-worth is. That's not just for a woman, that's for anybody. Right. So I remember being in a situation where, we were looking at a few locations, and the numbers were presented to us, median income, how much traffic was going by, and the men that were involved in that situation said, you would be crazy to not take this opportunity because this space opened up, you should take it. The numbers are there. And I remember saying, okay, I got to go and meditate on this first. And they laughed at me. And they said, what do you mean you got to go meditate? What's there to meditate on? The numbers are right there. I said, this is my process. I got to be able to feel right about this inside, no matter what your numbers say. If I don't feel in my gut that this is an opportunity that's good for us, then I'm not going to take it. And they were and they kept pushing and saying, and I know that, people in real estate, they trying to close a deal too, and they trying to get a percentage, you know what I mean? But for me, it was having to really stand my ground and be like, no, don't be pushed by them just because they're saying that, these details are in place and it's the numbers are there. It's all good. So for me, it was having to be like, no, this is my process. This is what I got to do. I'm going to take my time, period. You know what I mean? and almost like demanding that they respect that. Otherwise, you'll just get, what I say, bamboozled into a situation that you really don't want to be in just because somebody else is saying like those numbers look good, No.
Did you end up going with the deal?
No. No, I didn't. And then in that time, that whole plaza ended up just going down one by one as COVID like happened. And now there's like no traffic really in that area. So it's that lesson of like, hey, get out of your mind and into your body, right? Everything could look right in the mind. Everything could add up. 1 + 2 + 3, equals whatever. But if your body is screaming, that don't feel right, like that means something, right? And the reverse too. If your mind is saying this doesn't make sense at all, but your body is saying, but there's something that feels right about it, and I feel like I should do it. You got to listen to that too. So it was all about just having to, again, like being intuitive and sticking to and trusting yourself. It's a big.
I love you said respect yourself first. And when you know yourself very well and you believe in yourself, then you can, and you have your own process. I think that was a key takeaway, is the fact that you can only respect yourself if you have a process that you've mastered, because you're the master of your own universe, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, Janelle, you're going to be pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, because everybody wants favors when you're in politics. So, please share with us, how are you going to handle the whole respect energy of just doing things?
Well, in a nutshell, I've actually had these conversations with people who say they want to help and they want to support, but there's always like a, what's in it for me type thing. And again, I stated to you guys earlier, my role as an elected official, if I can move forward in 2022, is to represent the needs and wants of the community. It's not to do favors for any businesses or any influential people in the community. Now, they want to support the community, I could support them. So I've recently had to have, this is a verbatim conversation. Listen, either you're going to help me or you're not. But if you don't help me, that's fine. There's going to be someone else who will help me. So do you want to be that person that I will rave and brag about, that helped me do whatever it is that I'm trying to do for our community? Or do you want to be that individual that I'm always going to remember that what's in it for me type of thing? And I've already had to have had that conversation with a few individuals in this powerful political realm that I'm entering. And, again, what Bev said, you have to, it's not, again, this is not an overnight thing of creating respect and having individuals respect you. From day one, from the moment you enter the arena, you need to demand respect. So you may see other people doing certain things, but that's like very immediate and very small, short-term gratification. If you're in it for the long haul, you need to understand that you may see those same people in 10, 15, 20 years, especially if you're going to be a powerful, successful broker, whatever. You need to understand that, young person. And again, no success happens overnight. So in this political thing, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been, again, speaking up, and I've been since in my early 20s. I've been, saying things that certain people have been like, she thinks that she just knows everything. So this is not a thing, like I said, overnight. From the beginning, you have to demand respect. And again, it might take you a little longer to get wherever you're trying to get, young person, but you will get there if you keep moving forward. And again, just remind those people around you who are, the what's in it for me attitude. Listen, if you don't want to help me, there's somebody else that will, because whatever you have, like Bev has her coffee, I have my branding company and myself. I know what I'm worth. She knows what she's worth. So therefore, I know someone is going to support me. And again, those bad people, they are going to go away. They're going to disappear eventually, because it's very short term, like I said. And again, I'll end it with this. I met one person, and they, the way I talk, and I guess the way I am after the dissolution of marriage, they see I'm on my second win. And I was like, you know what? I'm so happy you think this is my second win, but let me let you know, this is my fourth or fifth, and I might have a sixth. So
That's right.
And that is okay.
Yes. And that's the mental attitude to tap into your power, Joe. You need to understand that you just got to keep moving forward. You're going to fail, but pick yourself up.
Now, both you ladies come from, you guys are both first generation,
Yeah.
Americans in your native country that your parents came from. Can you also share with us the importance of respecting your heritage? And what does that mean for you? What does that mean to each of you? Now we got 5 more minutes left. So you got 2.5 minutes each.
Man, my whole business, I feel, just because it's rooted in the Philippines. And I don't know if any of you have been in a Filipino home, but I mean, when people come into a Filipino home, I mean, it's all about what do you want to eat? It's all about just family and love and making sure you're good. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the Philippines. And if you go to the Philippines, they all treat you like that everywhere. And so for me, that has been such a key thing, especially being in a business where customer service is huge. And so we tell our staff all the time, whenever a customer walks in, how would you treat them if they walked into your home? And that just Filipino culture is embedded as a foundation in my business. So, I mean, I feel like it's just, I encompass it in everything, even though,
I love it because it's all about respecting culture. All right, Janelle.
It's all about respecting culture. Yes.
I mean, for me and for everybody else, I mean, having, I guess, love for your culture is, again, loving yourself and again, believing in yourself. So if you love your culture and whatever culture, I represent the Indian culture with some Caribbean in it, and I love it. But that doesn't mean that my culture trumps anyone else's culture. My culture is my culture. And again, I grew up eating that food. I grew up listening to those songs, and it makes me feel good. But I love everyone to love their culture too. I want everyone to love their culture too. And again, because if you love who you are and you love your culture, that means you're believing in yourself. You're tapping into that power. You're demanding the respect, and you're going to make moves that you never knew you could move. So this is where, again, tapping into your culture, whatever culture you represent. And I think that's a huge thing. And never, ever try to, be something that you're not just because of, social media is going to do this to our children and make you think kind of like what I went through, what you have to be. You are who you are. And again, try to go back to your grandparents, what they told you were too. Our grandparents seem to know all the stories.
That's right.
I think, with Filipino Americans, there's this thing where some Filipino Americans feel like they're better than the people in the Philippines.
Yeah.
For the motherland.
Because they
I think that once I realized that the only difference between me and the people in the Filipinos was opportunity, the fact that my family was able to immigrate out of the country to give our families opportunity, then I was like, that's the only difference maker. Otherwise, we're the same.
That's exactly, Bev. That's exactly what my grandparents did. They left their country and brought over maybe 15 families. So they can have those opportunities too.
Yeah.
So again, looking at that culture, that history that me and Bev share with our families, bringing other families, this is part of, again, if you realize that, then you'll be doing the same thing, giving back. She's an entrepreneur, giving back to the Philippines.
She's going back to her roots and doing, and then you're also supporting.
I represent the Indians for Hillsborough County.
Right? That's right. That's right. I wanted you to touch on that as well. How you're, actively, participating in that diverse group. Well, I enjoyed, time goes by pretty fast, as you can tell, guys. So how do we do business with you, or how do we support you, Janelle? What are your handles? And then, of course, Madam Mostra, how do we support you? What are your social media handles? So go have at it.
Real quick, I'm on LinkedIn, Janelle Khargie. That's the best place to go follow me if you want to go and see my political agenda, if you want to say that. I am not accepting any donations or any of that stuff until you get to know me, which will probably be a month or two. But if you want to go to LinkedIn, it's Janelle Khargie, Khargie. And again, I have other social media, but that's the one if you want to know in regards to the Florida Senate elections in November 2022. And again, it's District 19 that I'm running for. And I'm just letting you know, Joel, it's to be an advocate and to be a representative for our community. Okay.
All right. All right.
Oh, for me, I'm also on LinkedIn under Beverly Magtanong, Magtanong. I'm also on Instagram as Bev Magtanong. And then as far as coffee, you can go on our website, www.mostracoffee.com. You can buy all of our coffee there and then learn about our story as well. And then we're also on Instagram under Mostra Coffee.
And if they go to San Diego, you guys have a shop? Where do we come see?
3.
Oh, we're expanding. All right.
We're expanding. Yeah. So we're going to be in downtown San Diego come mid-June. And then we have 2 locations in North County, San Diego. So
awesome. Congratulations. Yes, we will. We will. Well, once again, this is another beautiful episode of Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I'd like to thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. You guys did your damn thing. And we'll be back next week, baby, on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you, baby.